You may begin anytime.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the Grace Art and PT Art Public Art lesson for December and January. Diane Janda has created a really cool new website for the school, as you guys may know, so check it out. It's got all of the lessons and sign-up links there. This month we're going to do public art, which is really cool because it relates to a lot of art in Reston. Reston has a lot of unique public art, and we've studied some of it already in past years, but we're going to look at some other slides. And the project we're doing this month, each child's going to create a unique piece that will be part of a large public art display at the school, and it's going to be in various parts of the school, so we're excited about that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about public art. I also have a video that you can show the kids. It's going to be on the flash drive. It's a 3-minute video. It's about public art in Reston, and especially for the younger kids, you might want to show that first and then do kind of like an interactive question and answer to get them engaged. I would recommend keeping the lesson like 10 minutes at most, because the project also takes a few minutes to set up and explain, and then they'll need time to do the project. So 5 to 10 minutes of the lesson, and the video is also 3 minutes, so include that in your 10 minutes. But now I'll talk about the public art. Public art is not an art form. It's just publicly accessible, large or small scale, 2D or 3D artwork produced through the collaboration of one or more artists. So it can be any type of art, and it can be traced back to the earliest wall paintings in Lascaux caves in France. And you also see this in ancient Greek and Roman cities. In the Renaissance and Baroque periods, a lot of art, what public art was considered, was coming from churches and cathedrals, or art within those structures. And in the United States, we have more programs now that have been promoting public art. In the 1950s, the role of art was to embellish buildings and public places, and it was commissioned of sculptures of leaders or heroes. So again, like I said, you can ask the kids, like, what kind of public art is there? Public art can be small or large. It can be murals, sculptures, memorials, monuments, architecture, landscape work, community art, digital media. And you can talk a little bit about who funds public art if you're interested in that. That's generally funded through the government, and increasingly you're going to have public-private partnerships. And there are artists that are selected oftentimes through contests or competitions. I would ask the kids, like, why do we have public art? And the video touches on this a little bit, but you can come up with some more discussion topics. So some of the reasons, many reasons, but the artist may want to create awareness for a topic, such as peace, or maybe it's just to enhance the beauty of the community or the surroundings. You can also talk about, like, in our school, is there any public art? And for example, we have this beautiful Faces mural as you walk into the school. Everyone's contributed, they feel like a part of the community. There's a lot of public art in Reston. So here's one. I think a lot of the kids will know this famous bench at Lake Anne with Bob Simon, the founder of Reston. We've also got this beautiful mural from the Town Center by Dana Ann Scher. That's from 2013, pretty recent. Here are some statues in the slides. We've got a fragment of the Berlin Wall. You can also talk about how the World War II Memorial is a form of public art, and maybe a lot of the kids have experienced this. Of course, Patrick Doherty, who we studied, I believe, last year or the year before, that's a really great form of public art that engaged the community in a fun way and that people can interact with. So those could be some answers, or you can ask the kids to talk about that. And then the slides have a couple other cool examples of local art. This is a yarn project that was done in the Delray neighborhood of Alexandria. And so that's it for the presentation. I'm gonna move on to talk about the project, and then I'll show the video later to those of you who are here. But the rest of you can work on the video, look at the video at home if you're interested. So the public art project we will be doing this month eventually is hopefully going to be displayed in the school something like this. This is a small display that was done at Aldrin doing a similar project, and here's a large display. So we're hoping to put these along some of the walls at the school. And what the children are going to do, it's called a modern tin art project, and we're going to get samples. Okay, so there's a simplified version for the kindergartners, but everyone else will probably do the same project. And it's a modern tin art that uses a couple different pieces. So we definitely need the volunteers to be helping to set up sort of towards the end of the presenter's discussion. The way that this is going to work is each kid will get a cardboard square and a couple pipe cleaners. And the pipe cleaners, they can use 1, 2, or 3 just due to supplies. I think we're going to try to limit each kid to 3 pipe cleaners. And they'll take the pipe cleaners and wrap them somehow around the cardboard. This is just an example using 2 pipe cleaners. Doesn't matter the color, they're different colors, I would just tell the kids that. Then they will take a piece of foil and taking the shiny side of the foil, putting it down on the table, place the cardboard on and wrap the piece in foil. And it doesn't really matter if the shiny side's on the outside, it just looks better that way. So again, don't get too caught up in that. One thing you want to probably do is tape the foil down on the back. There'll be masking tape, and this is where the younger kids are going to probably need help with the folding and the taping, maybe the wrapping. So the adult volunteers need to be pretty hands-on, especially the younger kids. I think the grades 3 and up are not going to need much help with that. Then what they want to do is flip it back over, and they're going to sharpen the lines on the piece with their finger, trying not to rip it. So I'm going to show you some samples, and then they're going to color it in. And so these are some samples my 3rd grader did. They can do any design they want, dots, lines, all different colors. They're going to get markers to share. The foil may rip. You're going to want to tell them to try to be gentle. If it rips, not a big deal, just keep going. You know, it's one of these things, we just got to go with the flow here. It may or may not rip, depends how furiously they press and scribble. Generally it won't, but it can. So again, just kind of monitor that because some kids might get frustrated, but then they're going to end up with these beautiful pieces which we will make into murals throughout the school. The simplified version of the project, oh, and kids need to put their name and preferably also their teacher's name on the back. Simplified version for the kindergartners. It's basically the same project with no pipe cleaners. So this is an example my kindergartners did. Just a little easier. And if you feel like your 1st grade and 2nd grade can't handle the pipe cleaners, that's fine. You know, go ahead and let them do this version. And this is where you may want to lay out, I think a tip would be for the helpers, lay out the foil and the piece on top, and then each kid can just fold it, come around and tape, maybe preset it up. That would be one suggestion. That I think is it. Just we're gonna have fun, and we will have a box to collect the pieces because we're gonna again try to keep these and post them later. So in general, the kids are not taking these back. We're gonna collect them, and we want to put some teacher's name on them. I think that's it. So,
Any questions?
do you guys have questions?
I think it sounds like a wonderful project. You know, you might want to tell a little bit more about that really cool project in Alexandria. I was reading about that.
Oh, the ARN project? The ARN?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
It was called the Unity Project, and basically they had different poles that they planted in the ground, and with each one with a title, like mother, daughter, student, and you know, just different titles. And the kids would take the strings and wrap it around each pole that the title applied to them. And the Unity Project showed eventually our interconnectedness. So hence the Unity Project. I thought that was a really cool project there.
And I think that goes to the idea of like, what's public art for? It's another
Yes.
example of connecting the community, making people feel part of their own community. That's one example. And then I will show you guys the video, which has a lot of good information for especially the younger kids. If you're going to ask them questions, it kind of gives them a basis for which to ask these questions. So I'll go ahead and show that, and then I think you can.
Yeah.
Reston is a very unique place, has a really great tradition of public art and an approach to public art that was really ahead of its time in terms of integrating art and urban design and architecture.
It seemed to be obvious that any development should have its functional facets, but it also should have a fun, beauty, fantasy.
There's sculpture that's sophisticated for adults. There's sculpture that's playthings for children. And yet they all belong. They all have a place. They're all fixed in situ in the environment.
Any evening, probably 10 months out of the year, at Mercury Fountain. The fountain's there, you see kids playing, people gathered around it. That to me is one of the most wonderful things that comes with public art. The spirit of community that comes alive in a place like that.
So all of you are going to make little stars that I'm going to place throughout the big mosaic.
Well, the stars that the kids made were great, and it just shows you how unique and precious every child is, because each star was unique and precious.
It feels really good. I feel like I've been a real part of something.
I have to agree with Noah. It feels like we really helped contribute to this.
That's a key component of what IPAR is doing with public art, is creating ways for people to have a meaningful connection to the art making process.
I have often asked, what's the point of public art? What's the point? Well, what's the point of anything that's fun? To the extent that we can increase the pleasurable experience of living for other people, we've done something that's really very nice, very, very good.